There is so much BS out there when it comes to how to actually be confident.
Accept yourself as you are, just manifest, looks don't matter, fake it till you make it.
Enough with this nonsense. In this video, I'm going to reveal to you the secret strategy you need to implement to become truly confident, despite what others think of you. This is the stuff most influencers are too scared to say because it completely goes against what weak, soft society is telling us right now. But here's the thing. If you stick around until the end, you're going to hear a fresh perspective. It may not feel good at first. It may not be all fairy tales and roses, but I'll give you a brutal fact. It works. And if you apply this, you will get to where you want to be in life. The first trait is by far the most important, and yet most of you still don't apply it. If you want to be confident, you must stop getting upset when people are talking crap about you, no matter who they are. How do I know this? I had to learn it the hard way with the opinions of my own family members. You see, I used to care deeply about what they thought of me and my relationship. And to be honest, I still haven't reached the emotional state where I don't care at all, especially because it's my family. But trust me, that's a discussion we'll have a little later because there's something critical I need to share about that process. I used to spend hours, literally emotional and physical energy, thinking about what I'd say to prove them wrong. I would even write down counter arguments just to stop replaying their comments in my head. I almost fantasized about winning an argument. But guess what? With some people, it's impossible to win. No matter what you say, they will never change their false assumptions about you. So I started thinking about it, and here's the brutal truth. Every single time I tried to defend myself, I was literally handing them my power. So I made a huge mistake by doing the absolutely worst thing I could do in this situation. Not only did I try to fight back, but also I explained myself to a level where I said,
No, I'm not that. I'm not the kind of person you think I am.
Absolutely pathetic. Explaining myself as to why their false assumptions, which were so wrong, weren't true, made me fall into their trap. I was so naive, not releasing earlier on that by trying to defend myself so desperately, I was literally giving off
Please believe me, I really want you to like me
energy, rather than that's so ridiculously false, I'm not even going to entertain it with an argument. You see, by reacting, you show these people that their opinions actually have an impact on you. And the crazy part is, they might even think they're right just because you're bothering to engage with them, giving them the satisfaction of knowing they've gotten under your skin. Doesn't that make you mad? Because it sure drives me crazy. Listen, the more energy you put into these people, the more powerful they become. And you have to take that power back. So how do you practically take back your energy? Here's what most influencers won't tell you, but it's absolutely necessary if you want to get to a point where you truly don't give a single care. You need to take emotional and physical distance from these people. I know, it's easier said than done, even for myself. This is a tough battle to win because it's my family. But trust me, this is the only thing you should fake till you make it. Because it's next to impossible to forget about them immediately and move on with your life. That's what most self-improvement influencers tell you. We all want to do it, right? But we know how hard it is to get rid of the scars toxic people leave behind. It's horrible knowing that someone thinks about you something so disgusting that isn't even close to reality. But you must learn to live with it because you simply can't change their minds. Ask yourself, why would you entertain people who wouldn't even bother to apologize to you, even if you proved them wrong? So you need to distance yourself to keep your sanity. If you create distance, they won't even know whether you're still thinking about their insults or not. You can fake it. Fake that they're out of your mind until one day they actually are. But if you do so, then be prepared. They will try to provoke you again and again until you fall into their next toxic trap because they can't stand seeing you unbothered. So the next time they try to provoke you, remind yourself of what an unapologetic would answer. Oh my God, you're so right. I am so selfish. I love being spoiled. And then just stand there and look at their confused faces wondering what they could possibly say next. Because I promise you, they didn't expect to get an answer like this, since their intent in the first place was to hurt you. And eventually all they got was you coming back with acceptance and I don't give a mentality. But here's the thing. Taking emotional and physical distance is just the start. There's something else you need to be doing. Something even more crucial if you want to protect your confidence long term. And that's what I'll get into next. In a moment, I'm going to tell you the one overlooked trait that every confident person I know has. And I can tell you from experience, this is something most people don't notice, but it's an absolute game changer if you want to keep your confidence high. But before I reveal that, I need to ask you a question. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Because here's the next critical trait. You need to keep friends that make you feel confident with yourself. If you have to change yourself around certain people, then they are not the friends that you need to have around you. That is a big one. And I used to not admit it to myself, but it's true. Last year, a friend of mine constantly pressured me about my life choices. She kept telling me I needed to get a job and become semi-independent, which, by the way, isn't even a real word. She just couldn't stand the fact that I was lucky to have my partner supporting me while I focused on my studies and goals. Why? Well, the truth is her partner wasn't exactly the best. He didn't support her emotionally or financially. If she was happy with her own life, she wouldn't be so concerned about mine. So instead of dealing with that, she projected her frustration onto me. She made me feel like I was doing something unethical, like I wasn't living up to some ideal standard of independence that she had only in her head. And I started to question myself. I began thinking, should I be working just to prove I'm independent, even though I'm happy with how things are? But here's what I soon realized. If you have to dress differently, act differently, or be different around certain people to please them, you are not being yourself. They are not your real friends. Think about that. I feel like now I have the most incredible friends around me that will support me and love me for who I am because I'm authentically myself. They won't make me feel guilty for my life choices, as long as I'm not doing anything illegal or unethical. And I want the same for you guys. You need people who you share the same values with, who won't make you feel small or guilty just because you are luckier than them. And here's the thing, if I had listened to my so-called friend, I wouldn't even have the time to be here talking to you guys. I would chase her version of worthiness. See, she always believed that she was more worthy than me just because she worked harder, suffered more and struggled. To her, the more you struggle, the more worthy you are. Like that's the only way to prove your value as a person. If I kept being the nice little girl, I'd still be living by her definition of success instead of doing what I love. But you know what? Forget what everyone thinks about me posting on the internet and calling out their toxic behavior. This makes me feel happy, and I want to do it. And this moment I had of, forget all of you, I'm just going to do it, is exactly what leads me to the next critical step. And trust me, this one is going to hit hard. Here's the brutal truth. Most of you are still letting people who don't even have the life you want tell you how to live. Think about that for a second. How insane is it? You are letting people who are broke, stuck and unhappy with their own lives influence your confidence when making decisions. But before we dive into this lesson, let me share a personal story that completely changed my mindset about this. You see, my mother has always worked in the public sector, and her constant advice was to pursue a stable job in the public service because it's secure and dependable. She believed this was the only path to stability, especially if you want to become a mother. The reality, though, is that despite her job security, she struggles every month to make ends meet. Bills, educational expenses for her children, these are constant sources of stress. Even though she genuinely wants the best for us, her advice comes from a place of her own financial worries and limitations. And to be honest, if she had the life I was going for, I would have definitely followed her path, because I'm not stupid. So, let me ask you something. Why would you take career advice from someone who's struggling to pay their bills? Why would you take relationship advice from someone who cheats and is always on and off toxic relationships? Why would you listen to someone's independence advice when their mum is still doing their laundry with their underwear? If someone can't manage their own stuff, even in terms of basic responsibilities, why would you trust them to guide you? Their advice comes from their own failures, and they are trying to drug you down on their level, no matter if they do it consciously or unconsciously. Block out the noise and seek advice from those who are already living the life you aspire to. You need to be confident in your own decisions and trust your instincts. So that's exactly how you can be confident in yourself, no matter how other people perceive you. But there's something more to true confidence I didn't tell you at the start of this video. In fact, everything I just told you about confidence is completely useless if you don't love and respect yourself to the core. Confidence isn't just about mindset. It also involves how you see yourself, including your looks, even if it's tough to admit. Click on this video if you want to learn how to unapologetically love yourself. It's time to take your confidence to the next level. See you there.